Okay, so we'll get started. Thank you very much for everybody attending after a long day of cycling and a few beers. So it's good to have you all here. Just as a bit of an introduction, my name's Dan Reardon, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Fitness Genes. And as we've just seen by show of hands, a lot of you have done the Fitness Genes test now. I'm a medical doctor by background, graduated in 2004, worked as an emergency doctor for 10 years. At the same time, trained in trauma and orthopedics, plastics, various other surgical specialties. But I actually come from a background of training as a personal trainer, sports nutrition, and while I was a doctor, I worked as a science editor for Muscle and Fitness magazine, which is one of the biggest fitness magazines in the world. Wrote 2 books and consulted to a number of brands, a number of companies, etc. My life has predominantly been spent in the gym, in terms of the gym environment. And since founding Fitness Genes, got a lot more involved in certain performance sports. And I just put this picture up because I don't know if you can see it, but the guy I'm there with is a guy called Per Lundstrom, as the head of human performance of Red Bull and all the Red Bull athletes. So I've done a bit of work with Red Bull, so I'm kind of pretty familiar to extreme athletes and extreme sports performance and the requirements of it. Can you see this okay? Should we dim the lights a little bit?
Yeah, if you step a bit to the side.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So, there we go. Perfect. So, at the heart of it, Fitness Genes is a genetic testing company. It's a disco now, isn't it? It's got the flashing lights. Yeah, just get them open. Hello? There we go. So at the heart of it, Fitness Genes, we're a genetic testing company, and I don't know how much you all know about DNA and what DNA is and how it affects you, but the best way to think about DNA is it's like a recipe book, and the genes are like individual recipes, and it's your genes that code for proteins, and it's proteins that make your body function. So it's proteins that dictate the colour of your...
You want to record this? Or?
Oh yeah, it should be recorded, yeah. Thank you. You can just stand it. Oh. No. 2 seconds. Thank you. Yeah. There we go. Thanks. Yeah. It's just my colleagues in the UK. There we go. So with regards to DNA, as I say, DNA is like a recipe book, and your genes are like the individual recipes, and they code for proteins, and it's proteins that essentially dictate how your body functions. So the hormones you produce, the skin colour, your hair, your eyes, everything you can possibly conceive in your body is dictated by your genes and the proteins that get produced as a result of them. So our interest at Fitness Genes was always about what can we find out about your genes and your DNA that could give us information about how you should exercise and also how you should eat depending on what your goals are. So if you think about it, the ways we differ with regards to our physiology, we have different types of muscle, we're all different sizes, different shapes, different amounts of stored energy, different hormone profiles, all of these things which affect our ability to get strong, get fast, grow, have a high VO2 max and all this stuff. And for us it was about understanding how can we figure that sort of information out to be able to contribute to how people should exercise, because I'm sure everybody in this room will have trained or worked out the same as somebody else, and somebody else has excelled and they haven't, and they've changed their training and then they've excelled. And the point is that we're all different, and about 50% of the variation between people in their physical performance is actually genetic. So when we understand that, it allows us to essentially take the control of exercise and actually figure out what people should be doing. And we do the same in nutrition as well. So, for those of you that have ever followed diets before, your friend follows a diet and they do incredibly well, and you follow a diet and nothing changes. For the same amount of effort, you follow exactly the same plan and you don't get the same results. And again, it's all driven by genetics. And for us, it's all about understanding how we can figure out what you should be doing just to mitigate the risks of failure, whether it's weight loss, building muscle, improving sports performance, improving how long you can cycle for, and all of these sorts of things. I've also, just on this slide, put a bunch of, we work with lots of universities. We actually work with Erasmus in Rotterdam. That's where we do all of our DNA testing. We joined their consortium last year, so we do some really cool stuff with them. Is anybody here a cycling coach or a fitness coach of any description? No. But are you all familiar with all the different ways that you could potentially train, all the different programs you could potentially follow, all the different types of exercise you could potentially do in order to improve your cycling performance? And the reason I'm saying this is because with Fitness Genes, what we provide is information, which means we're essentially part of the toolbox. And whether it's DNA testing, blood testing, VO2 max testing, power output testing, whatever it is, all of these things are things in a toolbox, and then expert coaches or your own interpretation with reading around and things like that is what enables you to then figure out how you should exercise and how you should eat. So we're certainly not trying to say that it's all about gene testing, but it's from our perspective, and in fact from yours, it's about gene testing being part of the puzzle and part of the toolbox that enables you to figure out what you should do. Now, for the purposes of this talk, we've actually got 2 people that we're going to compare the results for. And what I want you to do as we go along, just feel free to ask questions. So rather than just wait till the end and then ask a bunch at the end, if there's things that are relevant as we go along, please feel free to fire away, and I'll try and answer questions quickly and as succinctly as possible. But this is actually quite relevant. So the story of the tortoise and the hare. So of the 2 people I've compared, who's the tortoise and who's the hare?